Hi everyone, it's Renata here, and today we're going to talk about the new moon in Scorpio. And with every new moon, it's about a time of new beginnings, planting new seeds, and setting new intentions. And when we have the new moon being in Scorpio, Scorpio is it's an intense sign, but I love the energy of Scorpio because of its intensity, because it is a sign that really helps us remind us of our power, whether we want to use our power in a good way or in a bad way. Scorpio is also all about transformation, and this moon's going to probably be transformation on steroids, and I'll talk to you a little bit about why that is later on in the video. And it really helps us embrace or lean into that natural cycle of death and birth and rebirth in our life. And lastly, Scorpio is all about getting to the truth of things. It's getting to the very depths of things. It's intense in that it's an emotional intensity, but it also wants to get to the bottom of things, and it's not about being superficial or just like fluffy. So now's the time, just saying these little points of the themes of the moon, where it can seem a bit intimidating or intense, but I think it's wonderful because Scorpio is designed to help you leverage those certain areas in your life. So first we're going to break down the intensity of this moon, and we can say that is partially due to, yes, Scorpio being in the new moon, but also there's a planet Uranus, which is in Taurus and is in opposition with the moon. And Uranus is all about, it's the rebellion, it's the inventive, it doesn't like to conform. So Uranus opposing the moon in Scorpio, which is all about which is a really intense energy, but in a good way, can sometimes create transformation in a chaotic way. Or an erratic way. So it's not going to be this glorious, smooth death and rebirth of something in your life, perhaps, but it could be a little bit jarring or erratic or chaotic. And that's just necessary for maybe something to pass in your life in order for something new to come in. And I first want to touch on the cycle of transformation, which Scorpio is really good at, and that energy is really good to support you in. Is because Scorpio energy and Scorpio people really, they respect death. It rules the 8th house of the zodiac wheel, which is all about depth, our emotional security of our soul, and rebirth. So there's some things in our life where we want to move forward or we want to change and we want something new to happen, but we're still clinging on to things that just don't help us. They could be relationships again, they could be a job, they could be just a way we think about things. And Scorpio is just like, if you want to create this new birth or a rebirth or a new beginning, you got to let go of something. And even though we know we need to let go of something, it's still that process of grief, and it's kind of scary to let go because it's uncertain to us. So you want to maybe look at some things in your life, like what do you keep clinging on to that you're like, this is so out of alignment with me, but I'm so scared to let go because I don't have that certainty of what will happen next. Well, Scorpio is really good for being representative of the phoenix that rises from the ashes, that it doesn't matter what's going to tear you down or, you not knowing the next step. It's like you will be able to overcome and create whatever it is that you want in your new rebirth, in this new beginning. So don't fear that. Just embrace it as a natural cycle of your life. Just like it's fall right now, I'm looking at the leaves outside, and with our seasons, there's summer, there's fall, there's winter, there's spring, and the leaves need to fall, and things need to freeze in the winter, and then new buds can happen in spring. It's a natural cycle of life. So you want to leverage that too, to realize that's normal, and it's something that if you resist it, it'd be really hard for you to create something newly when you're holding on to some stuff energetically, even in your physical space. It would even be good to declutter your environment, because you holding on to old energy or energy that doesn't work for you, it will make it very challenging for you to have space for something that can bloom or that can blossom in your life. The transformation on steroids part could possibly be the fact that, again, that Uranus opposing the moon energy, because it's very erratic and can be abrupt, that transformation might not be smooth. It might be you might hear really abrupt news, or there might be really random things that might happen, and don't be afraid of it, or again, resist the chaos. Just understand that chaos may be the only way that you can see something from a different vantage point, because sometimes things need to crumble for us to just see the foundation for what it is. And when you're trying to build a roof on a house that's shitty foundation, or the walls are just completely destroyed, and you're just trying to slap a coating of paint on something that just really needs to be completely destroyed and built up again is the only way. So sometimes the chaos just comes to just wipe things out, because let's face it, sometimes we're not good at doing that on our own. So you can thank the erratic energy that Uranus will bring, but you also want to just be a little bit more mindful of it and not resist it, and just understand that that's there to help you see things from a different vantage point a lot quicker. Because if push comes to shove, you and I would probably keep clinging on to shit that doesn't serve us if we're not forced to move forward. Scorpio and power, Scorpio has an incredible power to do good or to do bad. And we all have that, whether you find yourself a powerful person or not, you always want to check in and say, where am I using my influence or my power for good? Like where am I not honoring my power? Like where am I not allowing myself to maybe share my insights or to contribute somewhere because I don't feel worthy enough? And ask yourself, like, why am I afraid to, share my knowledge or my influence or contribute? Is it because I got rejected in the past? Do I not feel worthy enough? Like Scorpio is really good at helping you really say, what is it that you can do for people, and where are you not utilizing your power for good and influence? Scorpio gone wrong could be a little bit manipulative and power hungry. So you want to check in with yourself, like where are you maybe doing things the not so full of integrity way to get what you want? That's not gonna, without integrity, nothing works. So without a solid foundation, that might get you maybe, a little 3 steps ahead. But for lasting anything in your life, whether that's success in relationships or with your job or anything, if you don't have integrity and you use your power to manipulate people, now's the time to really just see maybe where you're coming from a place of fear, because if you don't think that you can get it from a place of integrity. And Scorpio is really good to remind you of that. And lastly, with Scorpio in this new moon, I said the power, truth. Again, Uranus might bring really abrupt information in your life, and you might have truths revealed to you that you were like, where did that come from? And again, it sometimes can be a little jarring, and it's not something to resist, but also you want to be really grounded and mindful of your reactions, because Uranus can really create erratic energy. And because we have the intensity of Scorpio, your emotions can be a little heightened on the extreme. So you just want to maybe take a moment to breathe before you respond, and cut yourself some slack if maybe you don't respond in the best way. At the end of the day, you're just human, and that is very possible too, that can happen during this new moon. But I want to speak on to the fact of coming back to truths and asking yourself, where in your life right now are you lying to yourself? Where are you lying to yourself about things that you're not happy about, but you keep putting on a face? And Scorpio can't stand superficiality, and Scorpio doesn't care to be fluffy. And Scorpio is all about the truths, but also the emotional security of the soul. And now's the point to really get honest with yourself and say, where do I keep hiding the truth, or where am I afraid to just look at my situation for what it is, and why am I afraid of that? And be honest with the fact that how is that serving you for really what you do want to create in your lifetime? And it's something to make yourself wrong for, but just to notice, where am I being dishonest with myself and with others, and how and why am I doing that? And what's my biggest fear? And is that really true? It's probably not true, because fear is just perception, right? And it's there to protect you. However, notice how that action creates further disalignment with what you really want to be creating in your life. So it's going to be an intense moon, but it's a good one, because transformation, sometimes we need chaos and destruction to tear things down so we can just come from the ashes like the phoenix to rise again and have this new birthing or rebirthing in our life, because we're just too scared to do it on our own terms. So you can thank this intensity, because it's here as a gift to help you lean into that natural cycle of birth, death, transformation, and owning your power. So if you like the video, comment below, share with a friend, and I hope you have a wonderful new moon.